Also making a buzz this afternoon, the Food and Drug Administration is considering a proposal that would allow Americans to buy certain drugs that currently require prescriptions over the counter. The idea is to cut the government's growing health care costs. Supporters, including pharmacists, say it would allow patients to get drugs for common conditions, including high blood pressure and diabetes, without having to pay for a doctor's visit. Opponents, including doctors, say, hold up. Cutting out physicians can be dangerous, and since most insurance companies don't cover over-the-counter medications, patients would have to foot the bill. Now, the FDA will issue a ruling sometime after May 7th, but what do you make of this? Does the possibility concern you, or do you feel there are certain conditions and drugs that pharmacists are more than qualified to handle?
And Felicia, so many people can't even afford the copay to go to the doctor to begin with, and they do have some of these illnesses.
Well, and I'm just thinking about hypertension, diabetes, epilepsy, different kinds of diseases that do need to be monitored and regulated on how much a patient is taking. But it is an area where I think a lot of folks could end up paying more money, as you've reported, because now that they are unregulated, and you're going to pay a lot more.
Now, some of the drugs might include antibiotics, and we've heard about the overuse of antibiotics. And can you imagine? I got a stuffy nose. I'm going to go get an antibiotic, knock it out, and it's not an infection; it's a virus.
And doctor shopping just screams at me right now.
I hear black market.
Yeah, it's just screaming at me that people are going to profit off of this.
So I think that it's a gallant effort because we have a lot of expense in the Medicare system that we can't afford over time. But I think I'm leaning towards needing to let the doctors prescribe.
And this says here in the article, doctors and pharmacists have lined up on the opposite side of this issue. Well, obviously they're looking at it because it's going to cost them money ultimately if people don't have to come in and pay that, you know, sometimes $50, $100 copay, $125 copay. They're going to lose. It's not lining their pockets.
I'm fortunate that I don't have any of these illnesses that would cause me to have to get drugs on a regular basis. Well, knock on wood. So I can see both sides of this issue. It's just better not. I don't like it when decisions are made in federal government so quickly, kind of a knee-jerk reaction to an issue that both sides don't get vetted, and then we end up with a bigger problem.
Right. Well, so many of you also having opposing views on this. Let's go to Facebook. Jim Lamaro says, people could turn their bodies into a chemistry experiment that could go horribly wrong. Leave it to medical doctors.
Yeah, lots of people skeptical. Maggie Shaw says, now, as a person who doesn't have health insurance but still needs a prescription medication on a regular basis, I like the idea.
James Finstrom, there has to be a balance. Some drugs need monitoring, which is what you pointed out, Felicia. I don't think a doctor needs to be the one doing it.
Lori Gum says, great. Don't have to pay as many copays, but those of us with disabilities won't be able to afford our medication. Unbelievable, the non-solution solutions the government comes up with. I
agree. There seems to be
and it's still a proposal. It's still a proposal, and you can get comments in, I think, until May 7th or something is when it runs out. All right, we're going to continue to follow that for you.